I'm Weekend Gabe. You're checking out Weekend at Gabe's. Don't forget to give us a follow on these social medias and on these internets. And now for our Friday funnies, it is a pleasure to introduce Spiro Adams. Siavelis. How are you, sir?
Good. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Thank you so much for joining us for our Friday funnies. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You are one of the funniest people I've seen. I first saw you as part of the 48-hour film project. You and your team always come out with like some of the best films every year. When I was judging 2 years ago, and but then I started following your Instagram page and seeing you doing stand, and you are absolutely hilarious that way as well. So talk a little bit about how you started getting into comedy.
How I got into comedy? It's a long story, but long story short, I played hockey for a while. Moved to California to play, and I got hurt like 2 weeks into it. So I was 17 years old, living somewhere where I've never lived before. I didn't know anybody. And our athletic trainer, her boyfriend was an instructor over at the Groundlings in Hollywood. So she was like, "You should go do improv. I think you'd be good at it." I'm like, "I don't know what that is." And she's like, "You'll find it. You'll be fine." And then I went, and then I just started doing that, and I just continued on and eventually transferred into stand-up.
Yeah, and it's the world famous Groundlings. Like so many iconic people have passed through there.
Right.
We're into either comedy or stand-up or TV. What did you feel like? I would say pressure, but the weight of these iconic figures that have passed through. You're doing it.
To be honest with you, no, because I really didn't even know anything about it. And like, I didn't even know like this was a thing. Like I knew about improv and stuff like that, but I didn't know that this was like such a serious thing because I grew up in Chicago, but like in the suburbs and did it during school and everything like that. But like I never went to like Second City or anything like that downtown. Yeah. So now I'm in LA and they're telling me to go to this place. And I think it's just like an after school or after work activity. So for the first like 6 months, I didn't even realize how big of a deal it was until people like I would tell people and then they would have the same type of response and reaction. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm just going here because I'm hurt playing hockey. That's the only reason why. People would be like, "What?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And then I ended up falling in love with it. And I didn't realize how prestigious and what an honor it was until after I was done like doing classes there. So I guess I didn't really take it in like I should.
That's so funny. We had another comedian on who also was playing baseball at Marquette, and he blew out his arm. And then he got into doing comedy and podcasting. So it's kind of funny, like how some of you are injured in sports that land in this very unorthodox and unconventional way of building a career.
Right. It's bizarre. And even doing stand-up, like I've met so many former athletes. There's a lot of UFC fighters now that are like retired that are doing it. So I guess it's just an easier transition for them.
Well, I was about to say, is there a correlation between comedy and sports? I mean, there's a discipline that you still have to apply, working on it. What else how else would you correlate?
I guess so. Without being offensive to the rest of my comedy brethren and sisters, I see a level of maturity from people that have played sports compared to those who haven't. Like there's a lot of drama that comes with comedy. There's a lot of just competitiveness where people are like, this person's doing this show, I should be doing this. There's a lot of like that where it's like just competitive nature against each other. And I feel like the people that have been in sports are more like they're able to handle it better. They don't get so upset about the competition. They don't get so lost in the moment of the jealousy because we're used to just like if you work hard and you practice and you keep doing it, like you'll get there. So I think there's just that level of maturity that's a difference from what I've seen. But other than that, no, not too much of a transition, I guess.
I think we were not more so than ever. Like we definitely need to laugh more because of obviously every day on the news there's always a tragedy. How recently on your Instagram you shared a clip, and it was very personal to you with your wife who she's diagnosed with cancer, and you were talking about how you were shaving her head and turned it into this comedic relief moment that was absolutely hilarious. So, like, how are you able to, or is it difficult to take a very serious moment and deconstruct it into something that you could smile and laugh about and not feel terribly bad about it?
Yeah, no, and that's the struggle that a lot of us come up with. Like a lot of us like talking about fun, lighthearted things on stage, but also we have a responsibility to the audience and to the people that want to watch us to be as real as possible, to talk about real things that happen to us. And you know, I'm not the only person in the world who has somebody or is going through something with cancer or with an illness that takes a long, tough fight on people physically and mentally. So I feel like it's my obligation to make a light situation of it, like get real with it, talk like it, that there's no lack of emotion in it, but just show that like even during the darkest times with people, there's still lighthearted moments that you can appreciate, and try to, you know, for comedy, that's what we want to do. We want to entertain people, but we also want to help people get through stuff that they might not be able to get through in a different way. So it's definitely something that I've been taking charge in the past couple weeks, and I'll be continuing on for a while to try to do more comedy about the stuff that's been going on in my life with this, just so people have an outlet where they can laugh about it if they're going through it.
What in the past year with the pandemic, what are some of the funniest things that you've thought about sort of just while you're being idle? Because it's sort of been, I'm sure there's been moments where you're just like sitting around not doing anything, you're scared to go outside, or if you had to go outside, it's like I had to put like all this PPE on and make sure that I'm almost a bubble boy. Like, have there been anything that you sort of thought, and like just when you're idle, like it's ridiculous that we're doing this, but this is funny as hell?
Yeah, I mean, I really don't talk about the pandemic or anything like that on stage because I feel like
we talk about so much already.
I talk about so much, but I'm so over it. Like, and I'm sure there's other people that are just like, yo, like we know, like, no, we don't want to hear about this shit anymore. Especially now that things have been open for a while. I think at the beginning it was almost like you had to address the elephant in the room, like how ridiculous. Like in Vegas, our capacity, guys, stop it. I'm dog sitting and they're fighting right by my camera. Stop. Yeah. Okay. But at the beginning, you know, our restrictions were it was 20% and we had to be 30 feet away from the people had to be 30 feet away from the stage. So we literally had like 26 people and they were like in the back corner of the comedy club where we couldn't see anybody. So just like, it was just literally just talking into like it felt like talking into a black void. Like it was just like, what is this? So at the beginning, you definitely had to acknowledge it because it was weird. Like if somebody in a Darth Vader outfit walked right through like your living room right now, your audience would be like, why the hell didn't he like talk about this Darth Vader? Like you have to acknowledge what's going on, the elephant in the room. So at the beginning, we would talk about it a little bit, but now I'm kind of like, whatever. I see a lot of comics doing COVID material and what they've done over quarantine, and it works. That's just not my jammy jam. I'm just happy to be out of the house.
I was about to say, like, you know, in some of the clips, this is obviously in Chicago. We just started to reopen, and I'm not sure how last time you've been back, but we were just now, last month or two, at least like restaurants are, and I'm not. I think that the Laugh Factory has come back.
I think so. I think it started last month.
I think a few number of other places have been back for a minute too, obviously with limited capacity. But that, you know, that like that initial moment returning, what was that like? Sort of like you're talking to a black void. Like, how do you like just make yourself accommodate this situation? Because you're like, I feel like I'm up here by myself and it's hard to read the room. I can't see anybody or hear anything.
Right. No, and at first, like the first couple weeks of it, it was actually easier than doing it normally because you could just feel people's like relief for just getting out of the house. Like they didn't care what it was. So the first week or two, yeah, you could have literally sat there and made fart noises on a microphone. They'd be like, "This is way better than watching guys' grocery games again." Like they were, people were so excited just to be out, and then it kind of hit that weird like, okay, like this is not normal life being out. So it was hard. The first up until like I want to say January, like it was difficult to perform. It was fun to perform, but it was definitely, especially because I'm very improv-y and interactive, and I like to talk to people and I like to bring people into my world. So it was a complete shift in what I normally do because I can't talk to people that I can't see or even, like hear because they're so far away. So it really kind of helped me just focus on like my words and how to like be more structured, which is something I've always lacked in life, included is structure. I fly by the seat of my pants and I'm all for it. So it let me flex a different muscle that I normally wouldn't flex. So it forced me to be better in other ways. And now that everything's back open and it's getting like, I feel just like when you go to a gym or you work out, like you work on something and you feel it getting stronger and then you appreciate it once you utilize it. So it was just a lot of getting beat up in a lot of blank stares and quiet and driving home to sad music, wondering why I'm still doing this. But we're good now. Everything's good now.
So on your Instagram, because I was trolling this week, you had
Right.
posted an old business card when you were a casino marketing executive, and then
Yeah.
they jammed up your name a little bit.
Oh yeah.
What about the casino experience made you not want to do that anymore? Because that seems like it could be really fun, or just like terribly, just like.
Yeah, the Golden Nugget, I mean, completely ruined any desire for me to want to work in a casino ever again. Yeah, you heard me, Fertitta and Tillman. You heard, like, you guys are listening. I'm coming for you guys. No, it was just it was one of those where like when I started at the Palms Casino and I was really, really happy working there. And then I chased the money. Golden Nugget was like, here's this big pay raise, all this power, title, and I jumped thinking the grass would be greener on the other side. And it was definitely not greener. It was dead brown, needed to be destroyed and put AstroTurf on. Like that's how bad it was over there. And I was just in a very unhappy spot, but it made me really focus on doing comedy. So there was some positive that came out of it. But yeah, I found that business card and I saw that my name was spelled wrong. And I was like, it makes sense. Nothing else went well at that place. So you might as well just butcher my email address too.
I mean, does that feel like kind of a lesson? Because there's a lot of, when we talk with and I've spoken with a lot of artists who are juggling a 9 to 5, their hustle, and they're chasing this passion on the side every time.
Right.
Do you kind of feel like you can't really meet the goals of your part-time passion and dreams while you're full-time committed to something else? So you kind of feel like it was almost, I don't say divine intervention, but the universe accepting you and like, you'd be working on this.
Yeah, no, it was definitely the eye opener because I feel like you can work certain jobs and pursue the dream. In Vegas, it's difficult because we don't work normal hours because we're in an entertainment town. So if you're working a normal job, you're probably working Friday, Saturday nights. Like there's no, it's not like the Midwest or other places where it's usually Monday through Friday. 90% of the people work those Monday through Friday jobs and then have Saturday. Like here, most people's weekends are Tuesday and Wednesdays. So sure. It is difficult out here for that. But I was fortunate where I did work very hard and I made a good living doing that in the casino industry. So I was able to bank a lot so I could pursue my dream full time. And there's a lot of good comedy work out here as well. So that also made it very, it was easier for me to make the jump. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to have to, like, comedy's stressful in general. So if you're going to have to stress paying your bills or paying your car note, work that job and just hustle. Like this game's a hustle. It's night. You're going to lose sleep. And that's kind of the sacrifice you have to make. I mean, that's what I did when I was still working in the casino while doing stand-up. I would work like 7 a.m. to like 5 or 6. And then I would have shows and I'd get home at like 2 or 3 in the morning. So I'd get like 3 hours of sleep tops for almost 2 years. So it's just a hustle. It's a grind. You make your sacrifices. And, if the job is stopping you from performing, then just find another job. Find a job that works in your schedule. But if you need that base pay, get that base pay.
Yeah. Are you planning to return or to Chicago to perform anytime this year, or is it still a little bit murky?
I'm planning. I'm trying to get back in Chicago. Right now, traveling's been a little difficult for comedians because a lot of places they want to use their local people because it's cheaper.
Sure.
And we always complain that people need to use the locals more anyway. So it's good for comedy in general because you need to develop your local scene. But I think in August, I should be back in August at a club in Bolingbrook. It's called CG's Comedy Club. I was there last year, right when the pandemic, when you guys had like a brief little opening for like a month and a half. They opened and I was there in August. So I'll probably be back there again in August, and then maybe some stops at the Laugh Factory if I have some time.
All right, fantastic. Well, we'll definitely keep our eye out. Let me know when you're passing through. I'd love to stop by.
Definitely. I'll hit you up if I get anything.
Sounds good. Are you? And I didn't know what I haven't heard anything about the our film project this year. But if you're doing it, are you going to also make a cameo?
Yeah. No. If they have it, then I'll definitely be there. But I haven't heard anything. I don't think it'll happen this year. I think it'll be probably postponed again until next year. But I mean, we'll see.
Did you guys win? You guys went to France or overseas?
No, I've finished runner-up twice. I think we finished runner-up a couple of years ago in Chicago, and then we finished runner-up 3 years ago in Vegas, which we're still kind of mad about because we were told that we were going to win. Not that we were told that we were going to win, but the producers loved our movie so much that they hired a sculptor to sculpt our own trophy as the producer's choice for winner. So it doesn't count because the judges didn't vote for it, but they wanted to know that we were their favorite. Everyone that was staffed in the Vegas one voted for ours. So I don't know. It was very weird, but we'll take it. We'll take it.
The thermostat one, I think that was 2 years ago. That was it was so damn funny. I
appreciate it.
All right, well, tell people where they can follow you on these social media so that if you hit the road and get out to Vegas, people can find you, or they can go to Vegas and find you there.
Yeah, I'm on every social media except Snapchat. Don't follow me on Snapchat. I don't know how to use it. I don't get it. I don't understand. But every social media at Spiro, so my name Spiro in that show. So Spiro in that show. I'm on everything, but TikTok and Instagram are my two main ones. If you guys have those.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, Spiro, for joining us as part of our Friday Funnies on Weekend at Gabe. We wish you the best, and hopefully you come by again to have
Definitely appreciate you, Gabe. Thank you.
No problems, Spiro Adams. How do you say your last name, Spiro? I'm a butcher.
Siavelis. It's way simpler than it looks.
All right, I know. It has a lot of vowels. That's what's going on.
Ignore half of them, and you're good.
All right, enjoy your evening. Thanks again for coming through.
Man, you too.